Welcome to this episode of Andrea Lake 101, The Making of a Billionaire. This week we are doing The Apprentice. We are going to do what I'm going to lovingly call the flyover episodes. Those are the center episodes, episode 5, 6, 7 of season 5 of The Apprentice. With who? With that dude who's the president now. Wilding out. So as you guys know, I am not rewatching the episodes. Like, it's a lot. I don't want to watch myself 20 years ago, Andrea. Oh, there's so many things I wish I could tell 20 years ago, Andrea. So for any of our listeners who are maybe in your 20s or 30s, this is what I would tell 20-year-old Andrea. Don't waste a moment of your time worrying about anything. Worrying actually really just is using your mind to create something that you are not going to like the outcome of. As a situation arises, just handle it as it comes to the best of your ability and go live a fabulous life and dare to dream big. Other people might be encouraged to try and stop you from dreaming big, but do you know who wins big? People that dream big. Someone said to me really recently, like, oh, you're just a dreamer. And I'm like, who the actual fuck do you think builds a billion-dollar company in 7 years and confidently says to anyone who will listen, I am going to build a billion-dollar company in 7 years? Yeah, someone that dreams. Guess what? There is way less competition for big dreams. Everybody wants to create a company that does $1 million in revenue. Way fewer people are trying to start $100 million company or $1 billion company. Hence, there's way less competition. So for the big kind of contracts that we're going after right now, Fortune 500s, etc., colleges, just huge contracts, big nonprofits, big hospitals, big endowments that use stickers for stuff, huge festivals, etc., government contracts. Way less competition for that kind of business. So this is not a Sticker Wars episode. Next week will be a Sticker Wars episode. But suffice it to say, when I see 32-year-old Andrea or 31-year-old Andrea on The Apprentice, I'm like, girl, let me whisper in your ear that self-doubt was never necessary. That when people were like, who does she think she is? I'm like, bitch, I am Andrea motherfucking Lake. That's who the fuck I am. And I am just gonna go live every single dream. And I wish that I could imbue my 30-year-old self with more of that. And I know it comes across because I have lived a fabulous life. I know it comes across like I never had self-doubt, but let me tell you, I sure did. A whole lot of it. I, up until very recently, had gnarly imposter syndrome. Like, yikes. And now I just don't. I went to Summit Detroit this last weekend for Summit Series, this big, huge event that like tons of amazing, extraordinary people go to. I will talk about it on next week's episode. And as I'm talking with ballers, the ballers, you know, my homies who have started Fortune 500 companies, I was like, this is my element. I have actually done $440 million in sales, and it took me until I was 49 or 50 years old to say, I'm actually a world-class salesperson. Actually, I'm really good. I don't hear a no a lot. Any no's that I hear is before I get actually into the meeting with the person. That's when I hear a no. Once I'm sitting down with someone, I don't hear no from them. Why not? Because I create win-win-win-win-win situations all the way around. I make sure that I am giving them what they actually want, something that actually would benefit them. I'm not just selling them something to sell them something. I'm matching stuff up with people and clients. By the time that I was on The Apprentice and I was 31 years old, I had started Rhythm Sticks, Zoco Inc., StickerJunkie.com, Delinquent Distribution. I think I had already conceived of the Power Chick Mafia and Yoga Junkie. No, I know I had, etc. So many different of my companies I had already started, and some of them were already doing like millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue. While I was on The Apprentice, I still did my normal amount of sales. There was a particular day on The Apprentice where I did $500,000 in sales for my company. And I had this deal because I had to sign off on the sales orders. And as they would come in, like I would have to look over the sales orders and the purchase orders for these different companies that were buying for me, like Mr. Rags or Miller's Outpost, Hot Topic, GameStop, any of these big companies. I would have to just like look over the orders and sign off on them real quick. And when I would get bothered for like a $45,000 order or a $50,000 order and have to stop whatever I was doing and look it over. Luckily, like the production crew is awesome. And they would just give me the purchase orders when there wasn't very much else going on. But it was like a pain in the ass if I got stopped on something for a $45,000 order. That's how much money I was making a $45,000 order kind of was a pain to me. For any of you listening that have sticker needs that are buying $45,000 worth of stickers, not a pain in the ass to me. No. All of this is to say, without imposter syndrome, I really am a really accomplished business person already at the point of going in there, so that when we get any of these little tasks, they truly are like games to me. It's like someone constructed a dream fantasy vacation where I just get to go play in business and show how brilliant I am at business. Yes, please, let's go. So once I got over the like, I don't really want to be here, I don't know how I'm going to be edited on television, and really started to dive into the game, it just was fun for me to bang out these tasks. And I very quickly came to like, well, I was just like, look, I'm here anyways, so I'm just going to do the most. I'm going to do as much as I can on these tasks. This is the point where my team, they hate me, hatred coming out of their eyeballs directed towards me. So my good friend May is rewatching the show, and she gave me a list of what each task and reward was, because we went on a winning streak. Why? Because I developed this huge spreadsheet to keep everybody on track. So we just kept using it, and we just kept winning, because that is what happens when you have a really experienced business person that knows how to quickly start, launch, scale things fast, and a team that doesn't have anybody like that on their team. Certainly they had smart people on their team. They just didn't have anyone who was a super experienced serial entrepreneur. Cannot possibly overstate how advantageous that was, because I knew how to launch things really quickly. And not only that, I am a bootstrapper. So I knew how to do stuff on a very slim budget and how to talk people into doing things when we needed stuff like on the fucking quick. Like, I'm going to put in an order for these posters or banners or whatever we were getting. Can I get them by tomorrow morning? And it's 11 o'clock at night and they're about to close. And talking them into working all night, which multiple times I did, because I own a print shop and I know what it would take for me to do that. And also at this point, I have worked with a lot of Fortune 500s. Like by this point, Pepsi is one of my clients. I'm selling to huge chain stores. I have all of these licensing rights. I had High Times Magazine licensing rights. That was my first big license. And huge companies. So not huge, but 10 million annual revenue probably at that point. And I just knew how to get shit done fast. Obvi. I didn't go to college. I didn't have a backup plan. I had to know how to start stuff real quick. And we get assigned to do a commercial for Norwegian Cruise Line. And the idea, the concept that came up was like, fine. And there were like 3 concepts that my team came up with, all of which were like, fine. We were all exhausted. And so the concept was show people bored on like an other cruise, air quotes, and then show them having a really great time on Norwegian Cruise Line. It's thin, it's fine. We had very little time. And the really good idea that actually Roxanne had was to shoot the first boring part in black and white. That was a good idea. And except for that, we had several concepts, and it took an intolerably long time to set up the shots for the commercial, because we had professional crews going with us to shoot this commercial. As they're setting up this dining room commercial, and they're making this couple in this abandoned, sad dining room look super sad and like they're having the worst time ever. Well, guess what? I work with Fortune 500s. And so what we're filming now, I'm like, I think we're only going to have time to get 2 or 3 shots total, because it took an hour and a half to set up that first shot. I have no idea why Roxanne allowed it to take that long. She was the project manager. I truly don't. I would have been like fucking snapping things along. She did not want to hear a word out of my mouth. She did not want any help. I'm like, cool. Except for that, each dining room in each cruise line is really specific, signature to that cruise line. And there is no way that a person in marketing at that cruise line would want to see people having a bad time on their boat, on their signature boat, in their signature dining room. And like, I get it that it was a concept, like I understand all the things, but did that come up at the end of the task? Yeah, it did. It was the first thing they said. Like, well, we don't really love that there's people not having a good time on our cruise ship. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. And now that footage exists. And guess what? Any cruise line, anywhere, right now, can take that footage and make it look boring as shit on a Norwegian cruise line, which was exactly my point. They just look like I was causing issues, but I wasn't. I'm like, hey, let's think this out. Also, it just took over an hour and a half to set up this one shot. That means we've only got 2 shots left. Now, I didn't understand after that the camera people would run around and get way faster footage. I had thought they were going to set up every shot this particularly. It was nerve-wracking to watch. And I'm like, hey, let's also overshoot the other concept we had while we're in here because we have the cameras, we have the lighting, we have everything set up. It'll only take like 10 minutes to do the other, whatever the fuck the other concept was. I truly don't remember. Then after that, I was like, or also we could have a bunch of people come in as extras to show them later in color, where it won't look like the same dining room. Like we'll try and make it look different. Like we'll pull that one shut up close and then make it look like they're having a blast in their very fucking expensive, like $1 million, multi-million dollar dining room. Because sort of every cruise ship, that is one of their points of strong like sale is like, we have the nicest dining, we have the fine dining, we have this beautiful dining room. People get dressed up, they look fancy when they go in there. And now all we have shown is this multi-million dollar dining room, people having a shitty time. And so I know for sure that we're going to get fucking torn apart in the boardroom for this decision if we lose. Well, luckily, the other team shit all over the bed. Theirs was no bueno. So a completely fine, totally okay concept was enough to win. Actually, it was a good concept with the post-cereal challenge, but the execution was really bad, but it was like enough to win. So that's kind of how ours was. Like, it was enough to win. It was fine. It was not groundbreaking, but like, I don't think they really expected something groundbreaking in this very fast turnaround 36-hour task. This episode was the first episode. This is episode 5 of season 5 of my season of The Apprentice. It was the first one where I noticed incredibly creative editing. So like, this is the episode, I believe this is the episode, because all of the center flyover episodes are mixed up in my mind, but I'm pretty sure it was this episode. It might have been the Arby's jingle episode, which is next, where I said a sentence, like my hair is down and I have a pink turtleneck on, and somebody says a sentence back to me, and then it cuts back to me. My hair is up, my glasses are on, and I have an olive jacket over my turtleneck. But it was clipped together to make it look like I said something, somebody else said something, I said something back. Those sentences happened like 10 hours apart. And I had noticed other things, but it was the first time that I noticed, watching back, just a deliberate misrepresentation entirely of what had happened. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the last time that the editing got pretty darn creative. So whatever, we win. Amazing. And the cruise ship is gorgeous. So they don't tell us what we're getting for a reward. Just that like, we're going to go get in these cars, there's blacked out windows, and we are just driving all the way around. And there's certain different points where I can tell that we're like taking 4 right turns in a row, almost like in a square. And I'm just like, this is so weird. And it's disconcerting because I get a little bit motion sick sometimes and we can't see outside at all. So we have these blacked out windows and they take us to this like industrial park that just looks like nothing special. That looks like you drive past it all the time. And it's in the middle of a bunch of other industrial places. Obviously, we have facilities like that for Sticker Junkie where we run production of our stickers. And maybe there's a fabricator in there. Maybe there's like, I don't know, a plumbing distributor that has like piping and stuff. It's just really industrial area outside of town that's going to be inexpensive, rent, etc. And they are behind these, like 10 or 12 foot roll-up gates with barbed wire on them. Again, not uncommon. We have gates like that around the back entrances for our facilities too. This is super normal. This is very, very common. And we go inside and it looks just like nothing. It looks like a not well taken care of office at a body shop or something, or a mechanic. It just looks like a normal, boring, nothing special front reception office with just like a normal receptionist that's just there doing her thing, whatever her thing is, at the computer. So we go in and there's a door behind her. And then we go and we still don't know what's happening. And then we go into the door behind her and all of a sudden it's just this big, huge elevator. And we're like, huh, is this the part where we die? Is that what's happening next? So we get on this like security elevator and it had armed guards on the outside. An armed guard gets in with us to the elevator and we go down and we are in a Brinks vault. Yeah. You know those Brinks trucks that you see driving around with like fucking bars of gold and shit in them? We're in one of their vaults, like somewhere in Jersey. It is like silver bars, gold bars, platinum, like whatever, I don't even remember, a bunch of precious metals. And these 3 dudes are diamond dealers and they just kind of look like used car salesmen. I'm not going to lie. But we go up to them and they have all these diamonds on the table. And one of them kind of is like flirting with me again. Remember, I was kind of a smoke show. I didn't know it, but I really was kind of a smoke show when I was 31. And so he's flirting with me. Everybody is trying on the diamonds, holding the diamonds, etc. They're like, don't worry, we've counted the diamonds. I've been like, hee hee hee. Maybe I'll steal a diamond. Did not steal a diamond, but I did get a diamond as a gift. I thought it was here and I could show it to you. I'll show you on the next episode. I think it's at my home in San Diego. And there's a funny story about the diamond. But first, so we're looking at all this stuff and we're trying on this ring. There's one ring, it's really pretty, but it's like super big. It's way too big for anybody's hand that was there. And it had this beautiful looking yellow diamond, but it looked just like a topaz. It did not look in any way valuable. Like, I don't know why you would pay that much for a diamond that looks exactly like a topaz. And for those of you that don't know, precious metals, topaz is very, very inexpensive. And in fact, I don't think it counts as a precious metal. I think it is a gem and it is not as precious. It's much, much more common. Diamonds also are really common. It's just good marketing. Yeah. So this guy drops a diamond in my hand while he's like flirting with me. And he's like, this diamond is worth $5 million or $2 million. I don't remember. I think he said 5. And it was huge. And it was like cut. He's like, this is the largest. I don't even fucking know. Some fucking bullshit. And I'm holding this rock in my hand. I would like us all to remember right now that I'm a huge hiker. And my grandfather was very into like, so is my aunt, very into like polishing rocks, seeing what rocks look like once you take off the exterior hardcore and finding these beautiful gems within the rock. And so this doesn't look that different than any of the polished rocks that my aunt or my grandfather have made, my Aunt Beth, through the course of me seeing these through the course of my life. I am all of the unimpressed because I am so wealthy at this point and I can buy anything I want just about. I cannot buy a $5 million diamond, but I never wanted stuff like that. Like, I'm in my house in Sedona right now. I am sitting in front of one of the most expensive things that I have ever purchased. It is a big, beautiful bookcase. It is made from one solid piece of tree. It was constructed in Italy, and I've owned it for 20 years, and I will own it until the day I die. Even with stuff like ostentatious stuff, I just don't have ostentatious things really. Like, I do drive a G-Wagon, and it has like 372,000 miles on it. And when I buy another car, it will have 372,000 miles on it one day. I just don't like the flashy, like whatever things like that. And I understand people do jewelry as an investment, whatever. But he's like, this is worth $5 million. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I own a mountain in Santa Fe at the time. We could call it a big hill. You could call it a small mountain. Let's not squabble and we'll just agree it's a mountain because that sounds better. And like 20 acres. And that cost $1 million with a beautiful home on it. And I said, just because you can convince somebody to pay you $5 million for this little rock does not mean it actually is worth $5 million. It means some people have a very, very lot of money because what? And I did say that to him and he laughed. I said it in a charming way, apparently. And then we all got diamonds, just like a loose diamond. And I was going to have a piece of jewelry made with mine. And I just never had gotten around to it. I'm sure I still will. It's a really pretty diamond. And Donald Trump's like, it's huge. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful diamond ever. That is the worst impersonation ever. But they're worth $5,000 each in XYZ. So many years later, a friend of mine in Sedona actually owns a precious metal store in Cottonwood, Arizona, and is, a fan of Trump's. And he's at my house like many years ago after Trump won the presidency the first time. And I was like, I was thinking of like auctioning off this diamond because it was given to me by Donald Trump and also it's a diamond and it was on TV and like whatever, because I'm like, I've never made anything of it, blah, blah, blah. So he looks at it and he goes, Andrea, can I be honest? I'm like, how much is it worth? And he's like, yeah, like $1,200. And this guy's not lying. He knows I'm not selling it to him right now because I was only going to sell it if it was worth like, $100,000 or something. I have no idea because I don't know what people will pay for. People buy shit at auction and whatever for insane amounts of money, as evidenced by the fact that that dude put a little rock in my hand and said it was worth $5 million. So I'm like, oh, whatever. And Trump was talking about how each diamond had a value at the time of $5,000. And that was, almost 20 years before. So most certainly the value would have increased over time, but they just were never worth $5,000. Which that all sounds right. So I think it's just going to be 2 episodes this time. We'll get through episode 6 of The Apprentice as well, which was the Arby's jingle challenge. And spoiler alert, yeah, I wrote that jingle. Spoiler alert, I've also written songs before. This was not a collaboration. I wrote it. And then we were like doing revisions, but because somebody else was the project manager, I think they left Allie in the room with me, but I just wrote this little jingle because I'm a slogan writer, like for a living. So obviously I wrote it. And then we put the thing together and whatever. There's like some fucking manufactured drama that made the air. I don't remember what it was. It was a really long time ago. The episodes started getting edited as if I was being really problematic. And I'm like, okay, cool. I just wrote a jingle that every single person on my team got paid out on for like 6 years. I was not being problematic. The personalities of everyone on the team were really beginning to grate on me. The like less and less sleep that I got over a longer and longer and longer period of time. So I'm just like, whatever, just what's the next thing? Like, let's just go. So we win the Arby's challenge. It's something like, oh God, you guys, I'm sorry. I know that I have a pretty nice speaking voice. My singing voice is untrained. You're about to find out. When I'm thinking Arby's, I'm thinking chicken naturals, wholesome natural chickens here. You can't find it anywhere. I know that doesn't make sense. I know that. When I'm thinking chicken naturals, I'm thinking Arby's. And that one, obviously, because we got paid out on it for 5 years and ended up getting used in a lot of campaigns, actually. And the reward was going to dinner at some fancy club in New York. The degree to which going to like $1,000 dinner was not a big deal to me because I was dating Jack right before then. And Jack grew up with not very much and had made a very, very lot. So the amount of times that we would like hire a private chef or eat at a Michelin star restaurant or get a private room at a Michelin star restaurant weekly, at least. If we were like going somewhere for a city date, if we were like in Manhattan, we would just like book reservations in advance, or Chicago or anywhere that we were eating in really nice restaurants in their private room because back then they didn't have the, apps to book stuff. So you could just go to a restaurant and if you knew to ask and just say like, hey, is there a private seating here that just happens to be open tonight? I'll tip really good if you seat us back there. I don't want to pay a ton for it. They would just sit you back in the private room for free if the private room wasn't taken, if you told them that you would tip really good. And guess what? We did tip really good because both of us had worked on tips before. So it wasn't unique. It wasn't whatever. And it's at this place, Alain Ducasse. Oh yeah, that is a really good restaurant. Okay, so that's where it was. And it was a private room, private seating, and it was like a truffle dinner. Well, I don't like truffles. And I like them a little bit better now than I did then, but I had eaten so much Michelin star food. And now I have a bunch of friends who are Michelin star chefs, who are phenomenal, fantastic, amazing, extraordinary chefs. I just was in Detroit at the Summit thing. I met most of my friends who are world-class chefs through Summit because they're the lead chefs at Summit. So the quantity of like delicious foodie food that I eat is super high. And the guy came out and he was like giving off shaving pieces of truffle, of just like raw, direct truffle, which if you don't like truffle, it's a very pungent, it's very, if you don't know, I'm sure most people know now, it's far more common than it used to be. And it has a very particular taste. And so if you're going to eat just a straight piece of truffle and you don't like truffle, nah, that's not going to taste at all good, and it's going to take a really long time to not taste it. And I feel zero obligation because every chef I know cooks because they love to cook for people and they love to give people food that they actually love to eat. And so I just explain to the chef when he's out there, I'm like, oh, I'm vegetarian and I just actually don't like truffles, but like anything else sounds amazing. Then he's like serving everyone alcohol and I'm like, oh, I don't drink alcohol, but like anything, any like little mixy-uppy thing that you do a virgin version of it for me, great. So then instead of giving me a virgin cocktail, and I really just left it up to them, they made me like this brilliant, like they juiced something and made this really, really delicious juice. And everyone's like, Andrea is such a bitch. And why wouldn't you just eat the da-da-da? And the whole time I'm like, wow, it's really apparent that you have never eaten at a fine dining thing like this because a chef wouldn't want me to eat food that I don't like. And they're super creative and they have a whole kitchen back there and they're only cooking for 10 people. This is a world-class chef. This is not asking for a million different substitutions at like In-N-Out burgers. They have a whole kitchen in front of them and they can very easily switch around things. And they made me this brilliant, delicious, amazing hand-rolled pasta, little ravioli meal, I think it was, or something like that. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember it was super fucking good. And all they did was they just did not put the truffles on it. They were aware in advance that I was coming there and was a vegetarian because they would ask that in advance. But the whole like affect of it just made my whole team dislike me even more. It had come to the point where the team wanted to win without my input at all. And I'm like, that's just not a great idea because you're not serial entrepreneurs. You do not know how to quickly start or scale something. So I'm just like, fine, it's cool. This comes in as important later on episode 9, but they're just disliking me more and more. And then we roll into task number 7. So I guess we will cover that here. Michael is the project manager, and it is setting up a room for the Boys and Girls Club. Well, I love interior design. I love decorating spaces. I love having beautiful spaces, etc. It is one of my jams. And I have set up and designed the Sticker Junkie offices myself that I had at the time. And so I immediately sketched out the whole room in the same way that I had the bottom floor of the Sticker Junkie offices. At the time, we had like 12,000 square feet back then. And I had this whole interactive space where people could move around their desks, where they could move around different chairs and stools, where it was very, very interactive. They could pull into a little conference situation. They could pull away a private desk. They could put their desks together if they wanted to be in more contact with each other. It was just this big, huge, very mobile, very movable, very malleable room. And I loved that room. And as soon as we got assigned to the Boys and Girls Club, I sketched out the exact same thing that was at the Sticker Junkie offices, up to and including the exact same paint color on the walls, because we painted the walls because the place was tragic. And I was like, I'm going to set this up sort of a combination of the way I have the Sticker Junkie offices set up and the way that I set up a party at my house, where there's like different little events in different rooms, very similar to what I did on the Chevy Tahoe task. This is completely my jam. I sketch out the whole thing. I'm like, okay, there'll be a music section over here with a bunch of instruments. There'll be a karaoke section right here. There'll be like a dress up section with a bunch of costumes and stuff in a mirror over here. There'll be a board game section over here. There'll be XYZ. Oh, there's so many different little things. I think there were 7 or 8. I actually think there were 8 or 9 different little areas for the kids. And then we bought all of this cool stuff because the kids got to keep the stuff that we purchased. And I took the whole team to IKEA and bought all of the same exact furniture that was in my office in Santa Fe. When May rewatched this episode, she's like, oh, they absolutely did not give you credit. I'm like, oh, I took over as the project manager because he kept stalling on making a decision. Now, to his credit, he's a consultant. He's the corporate guy. So when he went in to talk to the executives, like he knew how to talk to the executives, but he was going on forever. We had almost no time. We almost didn't finish the task because he was not doing great under this type of particular pressure. So I just took over, started ordering people around, got the room decorated, got it done, got it assigned, got everything in. And as somebody claimed like, oh, I came up with karaoke. I'm like, no, you did not. It was written down right on my little room map from the start. Like, and you came up with one idea to buy one karaoke machine, seriously, which is not correct. That was not the case. It already was on my list, obviously, but it was edited to make it look like it was collaborative. I'm like, this is not collaborative. This is literally walk into any party in my house or any office that I have. This is 100%. I just mapped out what it's going to be and executed it. And I did it so that the kids could like pull their chairs back and forth. And very unfortunately, and only because my team hated me for only that reason, Michael did the presentation to the executives, and I should have fucking pulled rank on him and done it myself because I was really pissed that he was getting credit for all of the stuff that I put together, that he actually had hindered the putting together of it. And the episode did not reflect kindly on him because it really did show what happened. It was infuriating, where I was just sitting there under my breath like, stop talking, just stop talking, just stop talking, just stop talking. We have to go right now, just stop talking. And I know I sound like an asshole a lot, and that's cool. I don't even mind because it was me competing with a bunch of people who had virtually no entrepreneurial experience. And all of these tasks were like an entrepreneurial task of how do you throw something like this together super fast on the quick. And it's not like we had like an event coordinator there. And I do coordinate events. I host a thing called Sedona Magic once a year, and I work with a lot of event companies and different stuff that I do. Every single one of these projects was hitting different skill sets that I just have. And so this is like a game for me. This is like my Olympics. Do you know, it's like someone just conceived of a show that would hit on not only things that I'm actually just really good at, but things I fucking love to do. I didn't start 14 businesses and like hate starting businesses. Actually, probably the most fun part for me is actually that starting point. And so I'm on this game show, and a whole bunch of friction that happens when you start a business is not there because they have taken care of a lot of that. Like, here's the money, here's the budget, here's the team that you're going to work with, here's the task assignment, go run, play. you have 36 hours. And I grew up in the 80s. We didn't have screens in the late 70s, even, and early 80s. And so we were just like playing board games, playing role playing games, playing games throughout the neighborhood, making up our own games. I have always loved playing games, and this is like the game of a lifetime. And so it wasn't even about like, oh, I want to get all the credit. Although I did want to be credited with my ideas. That was a way fucking bigger deal to me back then. Like now I have such a collaborative team at Sticker Janky. I don't give one shit who gets the credit for what. And everybody on my team is brilliant. And I credit them with everything that they do. I'm just like, go run, amazing, go run, play. Because everyone is so talented and I want their talents to shine bright. But like, I picked everyone that works on my team. And so here I am, and I'm just being transparent with you guys. And I know how it sounds sometimes, but like I'm playing this big fun game, but I am also just all of the tired, 100% of the tired all the time. Remember, for those of you that didn't watch the back episodes, I'm sleeping 2.5 hours in a 24-hour period. As a matter of fact, that episode at the Boys and Girls Club was the episode where I fell asleep on a desk. I am talking about a steel desk with a solid wood top with no pillow, no blanket, no nothing. And I'm not the person that can like fall asleep sitting up on a plane. I'm just not the person that sleeps anywhere, but I was so tired that I was like, I can sleep anywhere. And that 35-minute nap on the desk, that was the only sleep I had in a 24-hour period of time. And so, of course, people were fucking pissing me off. And I was pissing them off too. And now that like the COVIDs happened and the lockdowns have happened and I've seen some TV, I did go back and watch several seasons of Survivor during the 2020 lockdowns. And I was like, oh, it was like an alliance against me. This was a whole thing. This was a whole lingo that other people understood. That like I had seen the first season of Survivor because it was such a big cultural phenomenon that we would like go have potlucks at different friends' houses on Thursday and all watch together. My whole family was watching. We started watching it on like a family reunion trip to Lake Tahoe. And I just got hooked, but I didn't continue watching it after that because I didn't own a television. And so sort of I missed the evolution of like alliances. So I didn't actually really get the strategy of what was happening because I would love to remind you guys that Trump did me no favors every time he was assigning a task or winning something. He'd be like, Andrea, see, she knows, see, and he's talking me up. You can't beat her. You can't beat her. He said that so many times. So they're like, well, we got to get this fucking chick out. And they're right. They would have had to get me out to win. So well done them. Because they sure did. That episode is wild. They were like, there's going to be blood on the boardroom walls. Ooh, I'm excited to do that episode. There'll be a little wine for that one. And like, look, they have all done great in life. And I am not saying these are not very, very smart people. They are. And like so many of them were lawyers. And if I went into a law firm and tried to like write law or like go find different statutes for some different trial or court case or something, I would not do very well at that because it is not what I do for a living. And so somebody that like practices law and has been practicing law all day, every day for 15 years, which is the same comparison, because when I was on that show, I had been an entrepreneur since I was 17 years old. So at that point, it was 14 years and I had made millions and millions of dollars in sales. And so I know how to do that. And I had different little fashion shows, different event pop-ups for my company, tons and tons of different advertising that we had done for Sticker Junkie and for delinquent distribution and for anti-establishment clothing. And so I did have all of this experience on sort of every different area that the tasks had been on so far. It is fair to say, like when I look back, when I was going on that show, I truly, truly did not, it's bad on me, but I did not understand the premise of the show. I don't even know how I misunderstood it so badly, but I was so busy that I didn't really look into it that much. And I truly thought it would be like a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people like me. I thought I was going to meet my people. I thought I would feel the same way that I did when I got to go attend Summit Series for the first time and just met banger entrepreneurs from like every single different vertical of business. I just don't know how I misunderstood it so badly, but I did. And so, of course, I was carrying a team. And of course, I was in charge a lot. Do you know why? Because I'm a CEO and I have had staff. And at the time that I was filming this show, I had like a lot of staff. I was very used to saying, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this. But in my offices, there is so much mutual respect between the people that work there. I adore the people on my team at Sticker Junkie, and I very deliberately work with them to bring out whatever they're going to be best at. I want the right people in the right positions. And what I know for sure, and what I've seen in my businesses, is once I have the right person and they're a great team fit and they're a great team player, if they're just in the wrong position, we're going to find the right position for them, because I have fantastic, phenomenal, amazing people on my team. And I have a ton of key people in key places to be ready for this next expansion that we're going on. So look, that's going to wrap it up for this Apprentice episode. I am dying to tell you guys what is going on in the sticker world and with Stickergate. So exciting. And I'm going to film 2 more Apprentice episodes while I'm out here in Sedona, my favorite, and those will roll out over the course of the next few weeks as well. Until next time, hit it hard after your dreams. And if today is not your day to hit it hard, I understand that. Set an intention to do something to take a step towards whatever your goal is tomorrow. Give yourself grace if today is the day that you are sitting here and you're going to just watch TV and veg out all night. That's A-O-fucking-K. But set a little plan and set yourself up for a little win tomorrow if you can.